Hey everybody, it's Anna. Welcome back to my Fluid Art channel and thank you so much for stopping by. I have a special guest with me in the studio today. It's Kate!
Hi!
So Kate and I are going to do a painting in advance of her birthday. Every year we do a painting together for her birthday. Kate, how old are you turning?
9.
She's turning 9. And what technique have you picked for us?
A spiraling split cup strainer pour.
Whew, that's a tongue twister. A spiraling split cup strainer pour. That means we're using a split cup to pour into a strainer while we turn the canvas to make kind of a spiral design. Now you might think that sounds an awful lot like a nautilus pour, and yes, it's very similar to a nautilus pour. Our paint is a little bit thicker, and we're using 5 colors instead of 3, so it'll be kind of like a nautilus pour, but it should make a fun design. Kate, what colors have you picked for us? First of all, what is the sort of flow extender background color?
Purple?
Purple. Yeah. So this is, I think actually this paint is called purple, and I've added some white, so it's a little lighter, and this is going to go around the edge to help all the other colors to flow and stretch. I don't know if there will be any of this left along the edge of the painting, or whether it'll all be covered, but that'll be our background. And then what other colors do we have?
Pink, dark purple, sky blue, metallic silver, and white.
And all of the details about the paint brands and how I mix them and everything is down in the video description. These are all mixed with Floetrol, about 2 to 3 parts, it's actually more like 3 parts Floetrol to 1 part of paint, then added some water. The consistency of these is a medium to a medium thin. So it flows nicely off of the stick. It makes a little mound. It's kind of a soft mound. Flows really well. It could be thinner, but we're going for nice definition of colors in those layers, so I'm keeping it a little on the thicker side. Is there anything more we need to talk about?
I don't think so.
All right, you know what time it is. Let's make a painting. We're going to start by putting the colors into the split cup. So Kate, what order do you want to have these colors in? Usually with a split cup, if you're pouring it out like a ring pour, usually the 2 outer sides are some of the ones that you see the most. And then any 2 that are touching, you just want them to look nice together, but also have contrast so that we can see the layers. Does that, like a white and a silver is not a lot of contrast, you know what I mean? So let's just take these colors and you sort of arrange them in a line here the way you want to pour them in.
Okay.
That looks really nice. So what we've got here, I don't know if you did this intentionally, but we have 2 light colors sort of here separating the 3 darker colors. You got blue and purple as the main edge ones. Great. All right. And you'd like to pour these in, right? Why don't you start with the blue there on the outside? Pour it in until it's mostly full, but not quite. I'd go this way. Okay, go ahead and stop. Good. Because this is a silicone cup, and sometimes the sides can kind of stretch out, and when we add more paint here, it's going to fill it back up. Does that make sense? All right, silver next. Till it's about at the same level as the blue. A little more. Pink in the middle. You don't have to move up and down. It'll flow, so you can just stay in one spot. Great. She's a pro. How many years have you been doing this, Kate?
3?
We actually have a picture of her right back when I first started pouring. I think you were like 3. Something very small. Sitting there in a little apron. with her tiny little flip cup. Sorry, I'm going to make you spill your paint.
Okay.
Little bit more maybe. Because that's the last color. Perfect. All right, look at that. Got a beautiful split cup of colors. Okay, but before we start pouring it, we got to put out our flow extender. And this does not have to go all the way to the middle. It's mostly sort of an outer edges thing. All right, Kate, why don't you try spreading it out? You can use your other hand to hold the canvas. Just start with this side, get it completely covered and the edges, and then once you've got this side, then you can turn the whole canvas to do the other sides. Can I show you how we get this side? So you bring it down and then you rub it.
Okay.
You can kind of scrape it along there. So watch this. If you pull it back like this, then you can scrape more onto the backside. And you sort of lift up as you do that. Yeah, perfect. Last side. Okay, so we're gonna put the strainer here in the middle. That looks pretty close to the center, doesn't it? And then Kate's gonna pour sort of a ring pour out. And while she does that, I'm going to slowly turn the canvas to create a spiral design. All right, are you ready, Kate? Do you need to step up higher?
That way, right?
What? It doesn't matter. You pour in whatever feels natural. Yeah, you step up there so that you can reach, because it's kind of high up there.
Ready?
Uh-oh. Okay, you can pour a little slower. Yep, like tip your cup up so that you're pouring a smaller stream. Good. Actually, just pause and take a break for a minute.
Okay. Am I doing something wrong?
Well, you poured out very fast, so it was like whoosh, lots of paint. So we'll just let some of that go out, and then you can start pouring again, but you want to watch how fast the paint is pouring out and do it a little bit slower.
Okay.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah. Yeah. Smaller circles maybe, like towards the center of the cup instead of, yeah. Okay, you can pour a little faster than that. So you see how small the ribbons are? Okay, we want them a little bigger than that. Little smaller circles if you can make them. You can steady your hand with your other hand. Why don't you come at it this way? That way you can see what you're doing. Okay, steady your hand if you need to. Good. Yeah, we always got to be able to see what our hands are doing. And we're going to keep pouring until all the paint is out of the split cup. And you can tip it more as it gets closer in so that the stream stays big-ish. Eventually you'll have to tip it pretty hard in order to get the paint out. This is looking so cool. Keep it tipped. Get all that last paint out. think that's probably fine. I got a little squiggle in the middle. How cool is that?
Really cool.
Right, I'm going to keep spinning it a little bit, because the spinning will help pull the paint outwards. You did a great job on that.
Thanks.
So I'm just going to help it stretch, and then I'll lift up the strainer, and then once we've got the center kind of set, then I'll let you spin it to stretch it.
Okay.
There is still paint flowing out of the middle, so just trying to get a little bit more out.
Okay.
When you pick up a strainer from the middle, you want to do it really slowly, because if you pick it up too fast, then air bubbles rush in and make these strange cells in the middle. So I'm just going to lift really gently. And then once it's up, then you get it off of there before it can drip. You see, there are some air bubbles here. Let me pop those. Kind of funny, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like that middle? Looks kind of feathery, huh?
Uh-huh.
Let me show you something. You can do a couple little, like, fingertip kisses to blend some of those points to make it all look pretty close to the same.
Okay.
Do you like that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that big purple one weird? We could turn it into a few smaller ones if you wanted.
Sure.
Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. All right. Kate, I'll let you spin it now, so grab underneath the spinner and just give it a sort of medium strength spin. Okay, it needs to be faster than that. Here. Pretty solid. Good. No, don't touch it yet. You can just let it kind of slow down until it stops. So the big question is, do you want any of the background color to stay, or should we spin to get our design completely over the edge?
I don't need a lot of the background color.
I think it would look better if we stretched it all the way out.
Okay.
So give it a nice hard one.
That was not very good.
But it's okay.
Okay.
But, may I?
Mm-hmm.
Watch it. How is that looking? So we still have some corners, and you can kind of watch how it's stretching. What do you think of that?
That looks really cool.
Do you like the purple corners, or should we keep spinning? We could probably spin the design pretty much over the edge, if you wanted, or we could keep the corners.
I kind of like the way it looks right now.
It's completely up to you.
Mm-hmm. I do like having the corners.
You like having the purple corners?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I'm going to... This one's a little bit uneven here, so I'm just going to try to smooth that out a little bit. And this one on the other side is similar. Why don't you give it one more gentle spin just to smooth things out? That's a little too gentle. I don't know that that was much harder. All right,
So
you can wipe
wet.
your hands off. I know. It's very slippery. Okay. It's not entirely smooth here out on the edge just because there is that larger sort of puddle of paint that was moving across. But as it sits, that's going to even itself out a bit, and when it dries, it'll flatten out, so you don't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Kate, that looks awesome!
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything more you want to do to it, or should we give him a close-up?
Let's do the close-up.
Close-up time. All right, here it is. So Kate looked at this and she said, I think this would look best in a diamond shape, which I agree, that's very cool. Let's take a look at these layers. So many layers. I love how you can see every single color. There's a little less of the pink. I don't know if that sank down because it was heavier or whether it just got covered up during the pouring. But the whole thing definitely feels plenty blue, pink, purple, and I can see silver in there, so we'll have some good shimmer when this is dry. There's the middle. It looks really cool. Those little fingertip kisses made some neat star points. So that's a very interesting middle. So we're going to let this dry, and then Kate will come back and show you how it looks.
It's dry. Here it is. I love the finger kisses in the middle. I wish that silver spot looked more like a kiss than just a big silver splotch. These three are really weird. My mom thinks that it's because, like, there's a bubble of paint in the split cup, so it didn't turn out right. But anyway, I really like the little stripes of silver. I love the way that it gives like a metallic shine to it when the light shines on it. It was super fun to make, and thanks for watching. Bye!
Yeah, this turned out really cool. Now, a lot of the white disappeared, and I think that's just because the white is a heavier density, and so it kind of sank to the bottom of the design. But there's so much silver making beautiful layers that you don't really miss the white. Thank you all for joining Kate and me for this birthday painting video. I hope it inspired you to try something new, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys!